whole bunch of Trumpers.
All right. Good morning, everybody. This is
What's up, James?
January 6th.
Good
Lovely day
morning.
here in Philadelphia. Coming to you
Wow.
live from Late Leaf Productions Studios. I'm James Jackson, he, they pronouns. I'm going to bring on the rest of my guests in 1 second. Just need to make sure that they are audible to you guys. Let's see. Select speaker. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Sorry about that. And hello, everyone. If you all would introduce yourselves, your names, your pronouns, and let's start with Jessica, if you would please.
Hi, my name is Jessica Meny and I use she, her pronouns.
And Lena.
Hi, I'm Lena Mucchetti, and I also use she, her pronouns.
And Kat.
And I'm Kat Lemon, and I use she, her pronouns.
Hello, folks. How you doing this morning? Also in the green room, we have Jay, we have Ardency Hall Karambe, and we just got Cheryl Brown Lewis, all regular guests of the program. They're not on camera right at the moment, but I just wanted to welcome our special guests here and get you guys talking about your upcoming production. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Newton Buchanan and I co-directed. We are also co-founders of New Light Theater Company, and we are doing a virtual production of Songs for a New World, which is a musical song cycle by Jason Robert Brown. Kat and Jess are one half of our cast, and to figure this out in COVID, we recorded each of the actors. There are 4 actors in the show, one day at a time in a film studio, and then we edited together the final product. So no actors were ever singing in the space at the same time. And that's going to be streaming this weekend, Friday through Sunday, as a video on demand production.
Excellent. So that's an interesting approach to doing a production during COVID. What challenges, if any, did you feel that brought to the table doing this kind of let's do this one part here, let's do this other part here. Sounds more like a film production than a traditional theater production.
Yeah, it's something somewhere in the middle. We're not really sure if it's film or theater at this point. We just wanted it to be safe. But I will let the actors speak to the challenges because I had a delightful time rehearsing with them on Zoom. They are the ones who had to navigate everything musically and technically, which I imagine was a lot more challenging.
And you guys can stay off mute. You don't have to mute for don't worry about it. Everybody can chime in whenever. Don't stand on ceremony around here.
I think that one of the hardest parts really was learning the music through Zoom, because all of our rehearsals were through Zoom, and so attempting to have Songs for a New World is all music. It's just song after song after song, and attempting to have a music rehearsal when the music director's in one house and I'm in another house, and trying to learn that way was really difficult. And trying to when we were singing it in the performance, in the studio, we couldn't hear what anybody else was singing in the songs where we were all singing together. So trying to make sure that we all learned the music exactly the same, all the exact same rhythms, holding things out the same amount of time, so that when they went to edit everything together, it worked seamlessly was certainly a very, very big challenge. But Tom Mucchetti, our music director, did a really great job of helping us, make sure that we were all on the same page.
Awesome. And what was your experience, Jess?
As somebody who has never done anything on camera, it was just really kind of spooky. With the added element of like not having scene partners at all, and then having our small but mighty team just kind of like rooting for you silently behind the camera. Like it was super helpful to have some kind of energy, but it was still sort of challenging to tell the story just kind of by yourself in this room. So yeah, and I agree with everything that Kat said as well.
Or you had a body double, which was like one of the directors in a face mask and shield trying to pretend they were your scene partner.
Yeah, all very spooky.
It's kind of the 2020 theme, was it was pretty spooky.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about the tell us a little bit about the plot, the themes. What story are you telling?
So there isn't really an overarching plot. Each song is its own character and its own story. So it's kind of interesting in that way that each of the songs sort of exists in isolation, sort of like we all are. And in the way that we filmed it, everything was sort of done in isolation. But the overarching theme, instead of a plot, is that each song is about one moment of decision where the world, as they know it, that character has shifted and changed, and they have to find a new way to navigate through those changes, which I think is pretty relatable at the moment, when everything that we thought we knew about the world changed and we had to find new ways to get through it. So it feels very relevant right now, I would say.
Is it original music?
It is not.
Okay.
I don't remember when it was written. Jess, do you know? No.
I want to say, yeah, somewhere in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Who's the authors, the composer?
Jason Robert Brown. So he did the last 5 years, Parade.
Okay.
Yeah, a few other things. So this was his first big show, and it was done as a collection of his other pieces that they strung together to be a song cycle. He was 25 when it went up.
Okay.
Which is madness because the music is brilliant.
And impossible.
And impossible, say the singers who had to perform it.
Awesome. So when can folks see that again? I'm sorry, I missed in the beginning, and I'm hoping to bring it back around.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. It is streaming anytime from Friday to Sunday, so it's a video-on-demand rental that's available all weekend. You can watch it anytime, 6 in the morning, 3 a.m., middle of the day, whatever you want, in your jammies, on your couch. So it's theater on demand is how we're doing it. And New Light Theater's mission is to partner each show with a charitable organization that we can raise awareness and support for. So Songs for New World is partnered with the Theater Philadelphia Emergency Relief Fund. So part of our profits will go towards helping the micro grants for artists who are impacted by COVID in our area.
That's kind of cool. Theater on demand, I think, is something that's been coming around for a while, I'm curious, what platform are you guys using to do this theater on demand?
We didn't actually have a choice in the platform. When you sign the contract through MPI for the musical, they relegate you to a platform called Showtix for You. But it looks like it's going to work out really well. You have your playbill right there in the screen. You've got the show, and it's available for 48 hours. So if you go to newlighttheater.com, and you can see right there, it links to Showtix for You.
Awesome. Just working on bringing up the poster with you guys. Sorry, just one second. Just gonna bring up the poster for you. Great. And so folks can go see you. We're definitely excited to see new efforts at theater, especially from theater companies like New Light Theater, and see how this continues to develop through, the next couple of months, years, however long it takes to get out of this COVID environment.
I'm not sure if a lot of it is going to disappear after the COVID environment, and I think that is very interesting as a theater person myself. I think a lot of the things that we are learning, especially about marketing and how we put out our material. Okay, James, I'll start my video. Good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm doing this coffee talk from my bed. I am. Yay.
I'm mad at you. I wish I was in bed.
I think it's very interesting. I'm really enamored by theater companies who have continued on. As a theater historian, I'm really excited about this time in some ways. I know in many ways it's devastating to our industry, but there are things that we are still surviving. I tell people theater has survived many a pandemic, many a crisis, and has come out with new ideas and innovative ways to continue our mission. And so I'm excited about seeing this show. I'm excited about seeing some of the other things that are coming out. So yeah, I'm not sure how much of that's going to disappear.
Don't know. We'll find a way, right?
Yeah, indeed, always.
All right. Well, I wanted to thank you guys for coming on this morning, and yeah, I'm gonna switch topics a little bit, but feel free to stay around, and we always like our special guests to stick around and talk if you can. If you have to drop out at any time, just let me know, not a big deal. And I'm gonna bring on screen all of our wonderful guests, and we'll reintroduce, for those who have not joined the coffee break chat before, all of our other wonderful guests who are regular guests of the program. So if you would introduce yourselves, your names, your pronouns, what it is you do, and we'll get moving on some of the topics of the day. Miss Ardencia, could you please introduce yourself and your pronouns?
Sure. My name is Ardencia Hall Krambe, and I am she, her, and I am an associate professor of English and theater at Community College of Philadelphia. I am the artistic director of Kaleidoscope Cultural Arts Collective. I'm on the steering committee for BTAP and some other things here in the city that involves the arts, and yeah. That's who I am, and right now I'm sewing. So yeah, I'm in bed crochet and doing embroidery. But anyway,
so Jay, if you would please reintroduce yourselves.
I'm a Southern boy. Ladies first, bro. You know how I do.
All right. Well, I'm just going in order of who's on screen. But Cheryl, all right, go ahead.
Hi everyone. I'm Cheryl Brown Lewis. I go by the pronouns she, her. I'm a scientist by trade for the past 20-something years. And I also dabble in the arts. Was previously hosting a lot of film and theater events around the Philadelphia area. And I do manage 4 music artists at this point. But COVID's kind of, stopping concerts and stuff. So it's kind of weird.
All right. And Jay?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jahi Sadiq. I'm a truck driver. I'm in my office right now. I'm also a photographer, visual artist. I go by the pronouns he or him. I'm new to the pronoun thing, so I'm not messing that up. Constantly anxious to see change in this country in a positive way, but we're not off to a very good start with the cops not facing any charges and the gentleman that was killed recently. So, good morning.
Good morning. Well, we've got quite a lot of interesting stuff going on in the news with regards to changes around the country right now. We've got so very much going on.
I just went to a rest area and I just passed people prepping to go to a Trump rally. I guess they're going to DC. It's like 33 cars. I'm not even kidding you. So it's like, oh, here we go again.
Oh, it's crazy. All of DC is under fire.
You You have the right to be stupid, so go for it. You know, I'm not going to stop you.
Folks who don't follow politics very closely, I don't know what you're doing watching this show if you don't follow politics very closely, but beginning really a couple of days ago, just after the new year, white radicals and terrorists have decided to descend on the capital of the country, and they've been coming from everywhere and heading towards Washington, D.C., because today is the day where the Senate and House of Representatives, the Congress of the United States, meet. They'll be meeting specifically to actually certify the election results. They'll read the election results, and they'll be meeting so that they can, actually say, hey, this is what happened in the election, and so now Joe Biden is president. I don't know. It seems pretty simple to me. You had an election. The results were tallied several times, and then the Trump campaign decided to bring several lawsuits. Something like 60 so far. He's won one lawsuit and lost 59. I don't know. I don't know what people like. I get it. You're upset. Your candidate didn't win. We were upset when Hillary didn't win too, but
yes, very upset.
But your candidate didn't win. This isn't like some massive, conspiracy. Your candidate just didn't win. There are more people in this country who care about others than agree with you. So that's at least a positive. Let's start out the year positive. I'm positive that the United States isn't as bad as we all thought it was at one point. Anyway. So yeah, DC is under fire. There's tons of Proud Boys, Threepers, hate groups of all description. They started demonstrations really last night. There's some video going around. You'll see a couple of videos. One where the Proud Boys are gathered en masse, and they begin fighting with the DC police. The instigation of that.
Nobody was shot though.
Nobody was shot. You'll also notice that the DC
can't fight with the police though, but they can fight with the police because I'm going to get shot.
Right. You'll also notice that the DC police are they're in windbreakers, not in like riot gear. They're the worst thing they do to the Proud Boys in all of last night's footage is spray them with some pepper spray.
That was aloe vera. It wasn't pepper spray.
just misting.
You have to moisturize. You have to moisturize. I'm sorry. I'm kind of an asshole about that.
No, it's really like it's a crazy hypocrisy. Like, everybody was all for Blue Lives Matter, 6 months ago or so, and now all of a sudden it's okay to fight the cops only if you're a certain color.
Well, so what instigated the one fight that you do see a lot of different angles on is a black woman was speaking. I don't actually know what she was saying at all, because there's no coverage of what she was saying. And for some reason, a person of pale complexion reached their hand in and tried to either grab the microphone or cell phone or whatever it was she was speaking to, and slapped the black woman across the face. I hate to tell you,
there's no arrest for assault?
No. I hate to tell you though, I am a 6 foot tall, not pale complected man. And I would not slap a black woman across the face, just in public. No, that not anywhere. But like, if you slap a black woman across the face, they are going to slap you back.
Or shoot you. She's my family.
The wrath. Yeah.
All my aunties.
You only got one chance. You got one chance. That's it. You better make sure it's a good one.
Yeah. Shot. And
grandmother would watch your hand. She'd be like,
when I come back. Yeah.
And this lady did not use her one shot for anything effective. So she gets a good right cross because she was to the woman's left. So the woman who got slapped, just reaches across herself and snaps her in the nose. And there's lots of video of this woman with a bloody nose. Anyway, the black woman and a few Proud Boys then went over to the police line because there's a police line to their right, and all start complaining for various reasons. Trying to address the assault, multiple assaults. And that's what starts the fight because the police pull the black woman through the police line so that she's out of harm's way, and then the Proud Boys accuse them of being traitors.
Protect, serve, and protect. I don't know. Isn't that a part of their job description?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So and I had some friends on Twitter ask me, like, what do they mean traitors? And well, if you've grown up,
what they mean by traitors, stop it.
Right. We know what they mean by traitors, Jay. We know. I'm just
when you say murder, right? Come on, man. Really? Oh my gosh.
So so if you've grown up in an area where there's a mixture of people, so very specifically one of my white femme friends asked me, like, I've spent my whole life with a bucket list item of being called a race traitor. How do I get that to work? And when you're in an area that when you grow up in an area that white folks feel threatened, it's relatively easy to get called a race traitor.
Threatened by who?
Well, so I've dated lots of white women. I'm married to a woman of European descent. Who's actually oddly as dark as I am. But I've multiple times been approached by folks who feel threatened by that. They look at me and they look at my girlfriend or now my wife, and being a mixed individual is the most threatening thing to white supremacists. And being in a mixed couple is the most threatening thing to white supremacists.
I say top 3, but continue.
Anyway, you could say top 3. I'm all right with that.
The top would be a unified and economically independent African American race. A completely unified and economically independent African American race that is not giving you freely unopinionated $3.2 trillion is the biggest threat to white supremacy. Because those at the bottom of the totem pole sleep with their sisters don't care about us, but those at the top, the 1%, they really care about us. They're like, no, go back to Africa. No, the hell you not. Not my money, you not. I'm just saying. That's probably number 1 on the list. Independently, economically independent and unified African American race. Oh no, can't have that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess history has shown that that's quite true. Like with any black neighborhood or city or company, they've destroyed it. It may have been
$3.2 trillion is the biggest threat.
No, you have too much power at this point. We have to stop that. because there's a lot of communities that, of course we don't learn about them, but you hear about a lot of the communities that were started because of segregation. So we had our own banks, our own stores, our own everything. And then they were like, wait a minute, you seem a little too happy about this separate but equal thing. you're making too much headway with, your wealth. And they were destroyed.
Well, the separate but equal thing, as long as it worked in their favor, as long as they decided what was separate and what was equal.
Right. And it would only be equal that you have your own restaurant. We have our own restaurant. But if your restaurant's doing better than ours, that's not equal at that point. We don't like that.
Or even doing as good. That's the other thing. Like you can't do as good.
Listen, a racist with a penny does not want to see a black dude or a black woman with a nickel. Whoa, wait a second. And I'm remixing that saying, but you get my drift. You get my drift. Yep. And I keep telling people, marching is excellent. That's what's up. You make your protest. You're out there. You're fighting a good fight. But it really does come down to taking away the money of the people that support the people who are causing the most drama in this country. Because you didn't see Black Lives Matter and all that crap on Amazon and all these other networks. It was a bombardment last year, in the year, until we started burning things. Until we started saying, you know what, we're not going to support this company. We're not going to buy this. We're not going to buy that. We're not going to ride that transit. That's the same way the civil rights movement. When the bus boycott started, people were losing millions, and then when they started losing millions overseas, wait a second. Hey, listen, I don't care what y'all got going on in the United States. I want my money. Because there is when you simplify things with America, there is no bigger gangster than the United States of America. We're in everybody's business. If you got oil, we want it. We don't care about nobody else. We care about money first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and then maybe human life after that. It's just the way it is. And I love my country, but I like to simplify things. There's no bigger gangster. So when the gangster's not getting his money, there's a problem. Fix it.
I almost feel like we have proven that Americans, or most half of America, don't care about life, anybody's life, except for their own, unfortunately.
Look at the COVID numbers overseas, and look at ours, because we put restaurants and hairdos before human life.
And I get so jealous. Like when I watch, I don't watch any American news channels, so I watch like anything that's not American. And you see them, frolicking around in the parks and riding their bikes and going out to dinner and meeting with family. And I'm like, so that's what happens when you have leadership that actually, and not even leadership, it's also a culture of togetherness. Like, I'll do this for you because we all need each other, and not like, well, that's your fault. You just don't go out because you're scared. You gotta live your life.
On this topic, I want to play you guys a clip from 6 ABC coverage about Philly gyms being reopened and restrictions being lifted. I'll just play it up close to the mic. Hopefully y'all will hear it.
Shut down. Indoor dining can resume across the city on January 15th. The city, though, did ease some restrictions yesterday, allowing gyms and museums to reopen again. Action News reporter Corey Davis is at Fearless Athletics in South Philadelphia.
Members of Fitness Works Philadelphia have been using this parking lot to work out over the past several weeks. Now that gyms are allowed to reopen, managers here say they have been working hard to try to get everyone re-enrolled. That's something many gyms are going through. Packed with energy and anticipation, members of Fearless Athletics in South Philadelphia started classes before sunrise.
This past month, just sticking to the living room has been quite a drag.
Dave Marks and others were missing that sense of community as gyms were shut down again for several weeks in the city.
I think we all could agree. We thought it was pretty silly to be closed to begin with.
Those who work out here say they feel comfortable.
So I just want to... Those first two comments, those are the ones that I wanted to bring up. Dave there and the unidentified woman who I'm just going to call her Kelly for no particular reason. No Kelly, no Dave. It wasn't an inconvenience for you to not go to the gym for a couple of weeks. No, it wasn't pretty silly to close down gyms. Gyms are a vector for this virus. They are a vector for this infection. They are a place where it is really easy for you to pass this disease on to other people. Get fucked.
Yeah, it's kind of weird too. Like, if, and I know I've said this on this program a billion times, if we had just stayed the fuck at home from March until June, we would be just like every other country. We would not be in this situation where it's January of 2021 and we still have to worry about shutdowns, opens up, shutdown. We could have saved small businesses. There's a lot of small businesses that would have survived in June had we have followed the rules in May and April and March. Like, I don't understand how people don't get that. Like, where is their logic? Where did we fail?
I think one thing that's interesting that I've noticed recently is people talking about how some people talking about how they don't want the vaccine, they don't need the vaccine because they take care of their bodies, they eat right, they exercise, and that's what they do to take care of themselves and their families. Like, that's how they do that. And you know, I think there's probably a little bit of cross section there, people who feel that way and people who felt like gyms shouldn't be shut down, which is why that made me think of it. But it's really interesting how much people can rationalize during this time. It's really scary.
Right. They try to put the narrative in the way that they want it. And I gotta tell you, like, I haven't changed my diet one bit. The only thing I haven't been doing is eating out. I don't take any extra vitamins. I don't eat fucking sea moss, whatever. I also have not been sick this year since I've been wearing a mask all day, every day. As a scientist, I wear a mask for work. So it's not something that, like, I can go 8 to almost 12 hours wearing a mask inside of a lab, fully gowned with a bunny suit and goggles and everything, and be fine. Normally, every single year, I get sick in January, March, June, September, and then November when everybody's like, I get sick a lot. I have not been sick since my parents got me sick last January. So obviously something's working because I haven't changed how I do anything other than staying home and wearing a mask when I am out.
I realized the same thing. I haven't had a cold since last November, and it's like, okay, yeah. I usually get at least 2 a year, and I haven't had one since last November.
Yeah, I haven't had one. I've had, you know, the occasional sore throat or the occasional you know, just stuffiness, but more like allergy stuffiness, that kind of thing. And it's you know, it's the basics. I'm not around people. I'm wearing a mask when I am around people. I'm washing my hands more frequently. I just touched my nose, but, you know. I'm not...
You're home.
Huh? Yeah, I'm home. I'm not about to go, you know, like pick up an orange at the ShopRite, you know. So rough segue, but speaking of ShopRite, one of my favorite, in quote, people, the head of the Brown family ShopRite chains, is considering running for mayor of Philadelphia. And I want to just say once again that this is a bad idea. Having this man in Philadelphia politics is a bad idea. I know a lot of people that I associate with, a lot of people that I know like him. And it's okay to like him. It's okay to like what he does for the community. He does put stores in food deserts. He does hire the African American community. He does hire from the nearby community. He hires from the Black Muslim community. That's all great. And he does provide good wages. He is not your friend politically. He is not for things that help the community in politics. He is anti taxes. He's a capitalist. He loves things that make him money. That's why he puts stores in food deserts, because he can make money from a store that he put in a food desert, because it's the only store. Sorry, I just had to go on a rant there.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, we should have learned our lesson with putting certain business people in high places. Don't work for normal American folks.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, am I being irrational here? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I get irrational. I don't know.
I guess my question is, it seems like everything has been, in some shape, form, or fashion, we've become a country that has equated everything to business. Everything has to have a business aspect to it. If it doesn't, it's irrelevant. You know, it has to be able to make business sense, or you're just wasting your time. Education is a business. No, education is education. That's why it's called education.
That's why it's called education.
Yeah, you definitely have a point there. Like when you're looking at even health crisis, they're looking at it as we have to open up restaurants and gyms because they're losing money, and it's not necessarily a health issue, it's a business issue at that point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's definitely a little ass backwards.
I wanna take a few minutes and cover a topic that oh, no worries. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, and that plays into the idea of getting that $2,000 stimulus, of being able to have that money to economically survive, and those businesses would have still been operating, but people would have been able to survive.
Right.
Yeah.
When you think about the country as a business, you don't think about people. You're only thinking about your freaking bottom dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that is an excellent segue. Thank you for adding that.
You're welcome.
That's an excellent segue to what I wanted to talk about, which is sorry, I just killed all your pins on the first screen there. There you go. You're back. I wanted to talk a little bit about unemployment and the unemployment extension. So I just wrapped up working with the Philadelphia Unemployment Project. I was on a 6-month contract, so I'm not working there anymore. The Philadelphia Unemployment Project does a lot of work around getting folks assistance with housing, with income, with food, and with jobs, because it was started around an economic downturn in the 80s, and it's been around since then. And so they care about folks who are suffering economically through no fault of their own. In doing that job, I've learned a lot more about unemployment than I had ever known before, and it's really interesting what's going on right now. So my sister brought up a good point in the chat. Is it cost effective is the first evaluation in everything. And when I'm doing activism work, I often talk to city council members, people in government, etc., about the cost effectiveness, the ROI of certain expenditures of the government. The money that is being sent out as unemployment is probably the best ROI that the government can get on expenditures. We've seen decades and decades of the government spending money on businesses, like not small businesses. I'm talking about spending money on huge businesses like banks, airlines, things that are quote unquote too big to fail. Well, what lesson we learned, and for some reason forgot, sometime in the past, 20 years or so, probably more like 40 years or so, right around Reagan, we forgot this lesson that we learned in the 1920s. It's now 2021, so we're on this 100-year cycle, but we forgot the fucking lesson that if people don't have money, businesses fail. If regular people don't have money to spend, There is no money coming into the economy, therefore businesses fail. Like, Robert Barron's figured this out. Ford figured this out in the 1920s, and through the 30s and 40s. People started getting money into the hands of the lower and created a middle class. There was no middle class in the before the 1920s. But it created this huge middle class, which is what led us to having the most economic output of any country in the world. We created this middle class, which was a relatively new concept. And over the course of the last 100 years, we've created the greatest economic divide since that 100 years ago. So now we're back to a place where there's almost no middle class. There's people who think that they're in the middle class, and then there's the actual wealthy, and then there's everybody else. The 1% own more than 50% of the economic output of the country every year. So there is no actual middle class. That's just something that they keep us talking about, so that we'll be complacent. But sorry, I'm getting off on a rant. Anyway,
I think they know that if people don't have money, then business fail. But they flip it and say, if we don't go back to work, so people have their money from their jobs, then businesses will fail. So they know, they just try to flip it so that way they can just have free range of F everybody else, I need to get back to work and I need to make my money,
For us, it seems there seems to be only one pipeline to make money, and that is to go out and work. But for people sitting in Congress, there seems to be all these varied pipelines. When you're in that 1%, you have a lot more avenues to generate those funds. And so it just depends on which pipeline. And yeah, they know we need money, but they're not going to give it to us.
Right. And they're really hell-bent against handouts.
Handout, yeah.
But it's, they call it a handout. Like, oh, you must love,
except
charity case. I'm like, I don't really give a fuck. It's my money anyway. Like,
except when you're handing it to them. When you're handing it to them, they're okay.
Yeah, unless you're giving it to big businesses. And, and I feel like we've had all the evidence we need to know that trickle-down economics doesn't work. And yet still we're trying to do it over and over again. Like, we're insane.
That was invented by a rich guy.
Correct.
It wasn't
a very rich guy. Exactly.
Correct.
And that's part
about your bootstraps. I can't afford boots, dude.
And that's part of the problem is that, yeah, exactly. The rich have continued to be in power. So it's not going to change. That trickle-down theory, we're going to keep seeing it until we really vote out the Mitch McConnells, until we really get stronger leadership in the Democratic Party. Nancy Pelosi, some asses need to be spanked. Mama need to come out and spank some asses.
Well, Pelosi needs to be spanked too.
Yeah, true that. But I hope. But she's in the position, and they're in the position. I don't know, man. It would be WW. It would be just on. It would just be on. It's time to spank some asses. How are you going to?
I want to find a way to give out money that doesn't actually help people that actually need it, and it's impossible to do that publicly. Like, can we just give people that already have money, and then not help poor people?
I mean, I guess. But we need ethical business owners also, because there's that one. I forget which company he owns, but. He raised all them salaries to like $70,000 and all that stuff. And during the pandemic, he cut his salary by $1 million, but kept, he didn't have any layoffs or whatever. And their business has grown, throughout the years. So he has been able to do it. So I know, other people can do it. The owners of Walmart, the owners of Amazon.
I'm a business owner, and that is the first person that, when you're a small business, and that's why the focus on small businesses is somewhat somewhat a good idea. The focus on small business is a good idea because when you're a small business owner, and I'm talking actual small, like I'm not your 300 person company. I'm talking like 20 people or less. When you're a small business owner, you or a sole proprietor, the first person that suffers when your business suffers is you, and you know that's appropriate. But my concern, and most of the other actual small business folks that I know, their concern is first, let me pay my people, because if I don't have my people, I can't continue to do business.
Right.
Once you hit like 500 employees and start considering them like, you know, cogs in a system that you can just replace, you go, well, you know, I don't actually need to pay those guys. They're just there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
So the PPP round 2, EIDL round like 3 or 4 are both coming out. Those are good things. They've actually somehow managed to actually get through Congress targeting that actually should keep this money, this new round of money, into the size of small business that we're talking about. They're targeting it at companies that are led by people of color and women first. They're targeting it at companies that exist in low income areas first. And they're targeting it at businesses that make less than a certain amount. And they basically said no more multi-million-dollar PPP handouts. We're going to, the max any company can get is like, I think they knocked it down to, I think 200,000 this round, which is great. You know, if you're an actual small business, you don't qualify for more than that. So EIDL, similarly, they're if you are in a low economic area, an area with so the way they're determining this is the census data. If your business is located in an area where the median income is lower than the poverty line, or lower than the statewide average, there's a couple of ways to qualify. I think there's 3 ways that they qualify this. But anyway, if you're your business is in an area that is heavily impacted on a normal basis, they're allowing you to apply for the $10,000 EIDL grant that folks were supposed to get in round 1, but nobody got. And they're allowing those businesses to apply first. Hopefully that will actually get out to those businesses this time. I'm looking at you, Mnuchin, but who knows? So all of
give me information on that grant.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, folks. Like, if you're not subscribed to my Twitter and or my Facebook page, subscribe, because like I put this information out as soon as I get it, and there's other organizations doing this tracking too. Skip is one. It's helloskip.com, I think, is the website. At any rate, that's one that I follow. They're actually following everything on an hourly basis. They look at the SBA website and stuff like that. I get my information directly from the SBA as well, from their mailing lists, stuff like that. It's all out there. It's just a lot of information to digest, so I don't expect that anybody else is digesting it all. I'm just gonna put it out there. You know, when people qualify for EIDL, when the EIDL is actually available, when the new PPP round is available. Let's talk about the extension to PUA and the extension to PEUC. Those programs, they are the federal programs that were created with the CARES Act to give people money, which people need. In addition to the $600 check that you just got or should have just got. People are having problems getting those checks, obviously, but that happens, and it's the same problems that they experienced with the last round. In this round, the extension to the CARES Act, everybody was concentrating on that $600 and the $300 per week addition. There is a lot more money that was involved in the CARES Act extension than people talked about, and the vast majority of it is going towards regular folks who are unemployed through no fault of their own. So if you were collecting unemployment and you ran out of any of the unemployment programs, part of the law signed into the new law signed into law on the 26th of December extends your benefits by 11 weeks. And that 11 weeks actually starts January 1st. So the first time people can make claims against those benefits will be this week. There will be a week delay in benefits just because it wasn't law for a week after the old one expired. So if you were contacting folks, or even if you weren't reaching out to anyone, if you just got a notification that your benefits ran out, you ran out of money in your benefits, you ran out of weeks in your benefits, go back to your unemployment website, see if you can file for a new week. If it doesn't say you can right now, keep checking. Keep checking every week. Get in touch with folks like Philadelphia Unemployment Project, Community Legal Services of Philadelphia. Community Legal Services is a national organization, so in your neighborhood you can get in touch with them. PLA, which is Philadelphia Legal Assistance, they all do work around getting folks their unemployment benefits. If you are having trouble getting your unemployment benefits for any reason, reach out to one of those groups. And we'll put links in the chat. There's also a new Facebook group that is being established by a combination of those and run by a combination of those groups and Light Thief Productions, which is Pennsylvania Unemployment Answers. There was an existing group, Pennsylvania Unemployment Questions. I have serious issues with their moderation, and so I established this new group. It's a Facebook group. Feel free to subscribe to that. This getting money. So one of the reasons for the fight for $2,000 checks, $2,000 a month checks, just to go out to every person who was earning less than, let's say, $75K per year. The reason for that fight and the reason to pay people well, to increase the minimum wage anywhere. This is a new fight that's also coming to Philadelphia. The minimum wage in Philadelphia is lower than any other big city in the nation, yet we don't have a lower cost of living. The reason for these fights is because people at or below the poverty line spend 120% of their income. How is that possible? People at or below the poverty line get income and then spend more than their income because they do whatever they can to stay afloat. If you're at or below the poverty line, or you've ever lived at or below the poverty line, you know what this is like. I know what this is like. You go out there, you do what you can, you get money wherever you can, you beg, borrow, and steal, you keep yourself afloat, you keep yourself and your family fed, clothed, and sheltered. And people at or below the poverty line spend 125% of their income. People at 20% above the poverty line spend 100% of their income. So if you give money to the groups of people that are 120% of the poverty line and below, all of that money gets spent into the economy. It's just like giving big businesses this money, except for you give it to the people first. Anyway, sorry.
It's really not a hard concept. I mean, when you have people who are out of work, they still need to pay the rent. Someone who owns a building that collects rent still need their money. So you don't pay people who live in these places, they can't pay their rent. These people, if they are like the working poor, they still need transportation to get to work. They need clothes to get to work. You need food. Like there's basic necessities of life that have to get paid. So like you say, like as soon as you give it to them, it's going to go back into the economy anyway. It's just they're fighting to stay with their head above water. But of course, rich people are like, you pull up your bootstraps and work hard like I did. No, you didn't. You didn't work hard. Let's be honest.
And if you pay for your degree, let's talk about it.
Right. And then there's the working poor that have
legacy, man.
Of course, to say you have to go to college, and now they have loans that they have to pay back. Plus, they have to work. So they still need like all this health insurance.
You ain't said nothing but a word.
I work with people at the Marriott that had their PhD, that had their doctorates, and they work customer service just like me. That's not guaranteeing you a job.
No,
it's not.
Not in this economy.
I don't say I can. Yeah, not at all. Really, it really isn't, because you have to have connections.
Not in any economy.
It depends on where you work at. It depends on so many different factors. We have to stop spewing. Higher education, it does not guarantee you a job. It doesn't. I'm sorry, kids. Sorry.
And if you have kids, I mean, there's a lot of people that have been sort of lucky that they can kind of work from home and tend to their children as they attend school. But then there are the people that, are considered essential, workers that have to go to the fucking grocery store to serve people who refuse to wear a mask or, like all of that stuff. But their kids, who's watching their kids? You can't really pay to put them in daycare because technically they're supposed to be in school. If schools are shut down, they're at your house by themselves, which is, of course now, for us latchkey kids, we were at home by ourselves at very young ages. But now, the shit's different. Like you can't just leave children at home by themselves. So yeah, there's just so many complex things with this that if they just pay the people to be able to function however they need to function, we wouldn't be where we are right now. Like you have 15 million or so people who are unemployed now, and also don't have health insurance. So God forbid if your kid breaks a leg, or has some kind of minor issue, you're just going to be broke for the rest of the duration of your life, because you'll be paying that back. They want their money. Everybody wants their money.
Everybody.
So, like us included, but yeah, it's like it's a vicious cycle, and rich people don't see it.
That's the essential worker, a truck driver. I was transporting food throughout the entire ordeal of COVID. Everything I transport is food. And there were talks about, giving assistance because my income fluctuated. I switched companies 3 times because I'm just trying to stay afloat. And there were talks about helping out essential workers that weren't in the medical field. But thank you for the medical field people. But then I just went away. And I have a lot of truck, but it's not fair that I'm on the road all this time, barely making ends meet. And you could be home making $10,000 on unemployment. What? That's insane. Meanwhile, other countries like, I don't know, Canada, take care of the citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And you wonder why nobody deflects from Canada to America. Why the hell would I? Like, what? That's like quitting Google. Like, I don't think so, buddy. We have a sliding board in the lobby. Come on now. Yeah, I'm just, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Ghana's looking pretty good. I keep getting invitations like, come on, brother, come on back. Like, ooh, I don't have my passport.
Yeah, at this point, I know, right? If they allow us to go.
Yeah. I want to travel to Ghana, but will you let me?
I love Ghana, man. I love Ghana.
They're like, so what's your numbers like? We gotta wait. How many?
Right. Will they actually let us in though? Like, I mean, we are the disease country at this point. Like, we are the plague.
Administration has made us the smelly kid. Dude, we're the smelly kid.
All right, with that, folks, I'm going to wrap up for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's 11:02 a.m. Happy New Year to everyone. I
Happy
really
New Year.
appreciate all of you for coming on and being my guests today. And I just want to say thank you. We're back for coffee break chat. We do have scheduled the next 23 weeks or something like that. It's daunting when you look at it that way, but it's okay. We'll be here. And you know, I just want to say a moment of appreciation for all of my guests. I really appreciate you guys for always coming out and giving us the latest and your perspective. So with that, I'm going to say bye to everyone that's a guest. Thank you for coming on. And I'm going to say a special thank you to our Patreon patrons for continuing to support the mission of independent media. We are an independent media company, and we heavily rely on your support, your watch time, your subscription. Become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and you'll get exclusive news and previews of things that we're putting out. And patreon.com/LightThiefProductions. And I want to say thank you to our associate producer, Meg Angelino. She always works behind the scenes here and helps us out, and doesn't get seen on camera like I do. So love to thank her for her work today. And if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, tips, if you'd like to feature your production or your next show on our special guest slot, feel free to get in touch with us. Submissions@lightthief.com. That's submissions@light-thief.com. We take submissions, and Meg will get in touch and schedule you in as a special guest. I really appreciate everything, and looking forward to 2021 with you all. We'll be covering the news and information as it comes out. Just a quick shout out to Stacey Abrams. Thanks for bringing Georgia and turning the Senate. Exactly.
Superhero.
She is a superhero. And tune in next week, every Wednesday, 10 a.m., at least through June. We'll be here, and looking forward to having you online. Talk to you all later. Thanks so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.